Thank you. I told my mom that I was going to be speaking at this today, and my mom's kind of old, and she said, honey, have fun with your friends. So just so I can prove that I did this, because she thinks all my little friends are here and we're having a little coffee, would you mind smiling for her? Say cheese. Thank you. Okay, I always like to begin with a little relaxation, selfishly because I like to relax. But I'm going to ask everybody now to just kind of roll your shoulders. Good. Move your head back and forth, front and back, and around. And then I'm going to ask you to take some nice deep breaths, breathing in through the nose, keeping those shoulders down, and exhaling through the mouth. Good. And another deep breath in and release. And on this third deep breath in, if you would, close your eyes as you exhale. My eyes are closed, so I can't tell if yours are. But as you begin to just relax for a moment and go to that place behind the eyelids, that place that we all live, where our thoughts are formed, where our beliefs are held, where our dreams are created. As you go to that wonderful place, for just this moment, feel your feet. Be aware of your feet as they touch the ground. Notice what it feels like, whether they're warm or cool or comfortable. And then direct your awareness to your bottom, sitting in those chairs, those amazing cushioned, comfortable chairs. Because as you think about your feet and the support of those chairs, you can begin to imagine that metaphor because of the support that Jessica has given us in Working Women of Florida and Working Women of Tampa Bay. So experience that support and begin to be aware of every bit of energy that is you. And imagine right now that your energy is dancing and playing and expanding to those next to you so that you're beginning to dance with each other and play and support. Because it is Jessica's desire that you break through those personal barriers, climb over those walls, stop feeling fear or whatever obstacle it is that you've been challenged with in your success. That you begin to trust your intuition, because when we release fear, we can trust our gut reaction. Our guts are no longer filled with fear. And that you can begin to reflect on your purpose and your passion. Because when you live and breathe your passion, everything else will fall into place. So go ahead, take another deep breath. Breathe in that energy, that passion, those abilities, and that energy of the support that is around you. And when you exhale, open your eyes and go ahead. Notice who's next to you and notice how fortunate you are to be here today. Several years ago, my son Todd, my youngest son, had to have his spleen removed. His spleen was the size of an NFL football. Well, he learned fear because if he so much as fell off of a bike, he had 2 minutes to the ER before something terrible, including death, could happen. He wasn't able to play touch football. He wasn't able to do all of the things that a normal boy did. And when it got to a point where he couldn't even walk up the stairs at school, we had to have the spleen removed. Surgeon went in, removed that spleen, and 2 additional. Fortunately, he had those 2 tiny ones, or he might not have survived. After the surgery, he had to unlearn fear because he had to learn that he could do the things that normal boys do, and he went after it with a gusto. He went after his black belt. And we named him Pinocchio because he was no longer tied up with those strings of fear. He was a real boy now. Fear can be immobilizing. I know that from personal experience. Back in 2007, I developed a fear. It started out with a fear of driving distances. Then it became a fear of driving around downtown Tampa or downtown St. Pete. Then it became a fear of driving outside of 5 miles of my home. Well, I kept getting calls from the president of the International Association of Counselors and Therapists, wanting to know why I hadn't signed up for the conference. Now, how could I, a hypnotherapist, admit I can't drive there? So I finally, after enough calls, agreed to go and decided I better do something about it. Through some self-hypnosis, I discovered the base of my fear. It wasn't a fear of driving. It was a fear of success. But it was even more than that. It was a fear of loss. Because if I became successful, I would have to lose in my mind at that time the life that I had established with my family. And I wasn't willing to give that up. And I had created tremendous fears and therefore the protection of that fear. Well, fortunately, I did overcome it because that was the year that I was awarded the International Hypnotist of the Year. How embarrassing if I hadn't made it to that. Fear can immobilize us. I had a client not too long ago who came to me for weight management. She was doing everything she knew she was supposed to do, but couldn't drop the weight. When we began to examine it at a deeper level, we came to the reason. She'd had an affair several years ago. She was thinner then. She was afraid that if she became thin again, she'd have another affair. And so we had to work through that and begin to allow her to understand that she'd already learned from that. She had been through the pain, and that it was okay to be thin and to stay in the marriage. I don't know about you, but there are many times that I've come across people and I myself have felt like a marionette, controlled by the strings of fear. I'm going to give you 5 A's today, one for each string that I'm imagining, each hand, each leg, and the head that bobs, okay? 5 A's that you can use to eliminate fear. And the first one is to acknowledge it. When I acknowledged what my fear was, that it went beyond driving, that it went beyond even success, that it went into loss, then I was able to move forward. When my client realized that she had a fear of having an affair and losing her family, she was able to make the change. So you want to be able to acknowledge your fear. But then, what do you do with that? Okay, great, you know. Well, then what you want to do is awfulize. And awfulizing is fun. If any of you have seen the DirecTV commercials where it's against cable TV, and if you have cable TV, you get bored, and then you take self-defense, and then you become the ninja fighter for justice, and then you run across the roof at night, and next thing you know, you're crashing through a skylight, and your back is laying on shards of glass on someone's dining room table in the middle of a dinner party. I love those commercials. There's a series of them. But I love them because that's exactly what I want people to do with fear, is awfulize. Take it to the worst case scenario. Because when you do, you often realize it's not the worst case that's going to happen. Seriously, someone who came to see me about fear of public speaking, well, if I get up and speak in front of people, I'm going to embarrass myself. Guess what? I've done that more than once. But if I embarrass myself, then people aren't going to believe that I'm capable of doing my job. And if they believe I'm not capable of doing my job, they're not going to hire me. And if they don't hire me, then my business is going to fail. And if my business fails, then I'm going to end up a bag lady somewhere. Seriously? Over one speech? So you want to awfulize. Take it to the extreme, because you can then see that it's either really not legitimate, or else, if it is, then you can begin to address how you're going to handle it. Valerie Harper was given a death sentence in January. She was told she had brain cancer. Okay, you can't get much more awful than that. But she decided that what time she did have left, she was going to live to the max. She was told in January she had 3 months. She's just signed on for Dancing with the Stars. There's someone who knows how to live. All right. You've acknowledged it, you've awfulized it. Now, you're going to appreciate your fear. I know that sounds odd, but remember, that fear is there to protect you. You wouldn't have it if it didn't have a purpose to keep you safe. And so, how is that fear keeping you safe? You want to begin to thank it. When I realized that it was trying to keep me from losing my family, I realized, you know, I'm not going to lose my family if I'm successful. I'm not going to lose my family if I drive to this convention. And my family didn't leave me when I won the award. Go figure. So you can appreciate it, but you can also tell fear, all right, there are times that you're appropriate. When fear is appropriate because a mother bear is coming after you because you've been near her cub, run. But otherwise, you want to say, fear, I'm done with you. Now, what's interesting is that the physiological reactions to fear are very similar to other reactions. You know when you feel afraid and your heart's pounding and you're short of breath and your hands maybe get clammy or cold and you can't think clearly? Do you remember the night before you went to Disney as a kid? Or ladies, have any of you ever had an orgasm? I personally like fear. Go figure. After that, what you want to do is affirm, not affirm. Now, we've all been taught to affirm over and over. From now on, I am successful. From now on, I can handle it. From now on, I am all that. How many times have you said that and then your mind goes, all that? Have you looked in the mirror? Seriously, you think you're brave or you think you're enough? And heaven knows there's enough people that we meet in our life, they're going to knock that affirmation right out of you. You think you're so good. You know, you look awfully tired today. Is everything okay? Thanks. Until now I was feeling good. I thought I looked good. So you want to affirm. Affirm is something that has been discovered by Noah St. John. He explains that our minds are tremendous search engines. Our mind is the original Google machine. Because when it's asked a question, it has to find the answer. And the problem with affirmations is we've been asking the wrong question. Because when we say, from now on, I believe I'm successful, our mind is saying, is it really? So instead, what you want to do is imagine yourself in that position of success. And then ask the question, why is success so easy for me? Why do I enjoy doing what it takes to be successful? Why do I enjoy fill in the blank for your fear? Why do I enjoy public speaking? Why do I enjoy doing my social media? Whatever. And so I'm going to ask today that all of you begin to ask questions in a form. According to Noah St. John, if you write it out or speak it 3 times a day for 30 days, you'll see amazing changes. What I can tell you is that writing it out or speaking it 3 times a day within a week for issues for me, I'm stunned by the turnaround, literally. The last A is act, because all the thinking, all the affirming or forming, all the asking, all of that won't do you any good if you don't act on it. Last night I had a conversation about the lottery. I can't figure out why I haven't won just because I haven't bought a ticket. Guess I need to act on that, huh? So I'm going to ask of you, everyone today, that you act on it. I would challenge you to ask each other today when you see one another, so why are you so perfectly equipped to do what your purpose is, to do what you came here to do? And ladies, when someone asks you that, respond. Or maybe if that's too much, just why are you overcoming fear today? Why are you successful? Ask one another that throughout the day. Answer that. Let the mind work on it. Ladies, I'm really honored to be here, really impressed with the energy, with the people, and with the talent that I have met. So, I ask you, why are you all so amazing? Thank you.